LA proved too much for the man.
Bonjour.
We are discussing the new documentary, Summer of Soul.
Let's go do it. I don't even know where to begin. All I have to say is that the world needs to know about the Harlem Music Festival, and I'm glad that this documentary is doing it.
Mm-hmm. I think that it was cool that kind of like Woodstock, it was mostly about the performances, and there was a little tidbit of like history kind of laced into the performances.
It wasn't just about the music.
Yes.
Rudy,
What?
what are your thoughts? Any initial thoughts? Or
I loved it. Well, I mean, like they said, it does. I mean, it takes the difference. One of the other major differences between that and Woodstock is that it took place over a few weeks in the summer. I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks where they had each week was dedicated to like a specific genre of music.
Yeah.
But to piggyback on what Sam said, and also I love that the documentary also did sort of show the effect, the cultural effect, the political effect of what was going on at the time. And how the music was representative of that, and representative of Black culture and Harlem and what was going on in the country at the time, without it being kind of preachy. I found those things interesting, especially when they had people watching footage, people that were there. It sort of bookends with a man who was a young child, and trying to remember that he had that experience. But then it also showed some of the performers watching the footage and sort of reliving what they felt like, because they hadn't seen that footage in years. Fifth Dimension and then Gladys Knight, watching themselves at such a young age and at such a pivotal time in their careers and also in their lives in America at that time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really stuck out to me was one of the contributors was talking about how when he was young, like he experienced this and it was like such an amazing, happy time. That's one thing I'll say. It was just so much happiness flowing through everyone. It was just like this happy, amazing experience for the witnesses to remember, and when you're watching the footage, you're like, this is just like everyone's happy and you feel happy watching it. But the guy who was a kid at the end is just like, thank you for showing me this footage, because I mean, it just seemed like up till now, like it was all a dream and I remember it, but it's like one of those experiences in life that you lived, but almost feels like such a memory from the past that like you start to question if you really did live it. And this reminded me and confirmed that it really was everything that I remembered it to be and said it was in my mind and more.
Yeah. I think some of like standout performances, like Stevie Wonder in the beginning is like jamming on the drums, which I didn't even know he did, and it's like incredible. And, there's a whole section of gospel singing that's really great. And they do this song, Precious Lord. And it's just like, it's really, really beautiful. What were some of your favorites?
I mean, Gladys. I love Gladys.
Yeah, always.
I really loved, what was it? Edwin and the church choir.
Edwin Hawkins. I think.
Edwin Hawkins and the whole choir, and they're singing "Happy Day, Oh Happy Day," and they make this statement about how everyone was just kind of like, because this is a church like gospel choir, and the church people were just like, no, you can't go and perform at this festival. That's like,
is it Pentecostal?
Yeah,
I think
that's what they said. Yeah.
I don't know too much about
rock and roll.
Exactly. No dancing, no music.
Yeah, no dancing, no music. But they, despite like what their church community was saying, they were like, no, we have to go and perform at this festival because we know that like we want people to feel the way that we feel when we're singing this, and it's just amazing. Like everything, I think that specifically that song, like "Oh Happy Day," like the word happy is what just keeps reminding me, or what I feel is the through line.
That whole film made me feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I mean, they were doing outreach is what they were doing. I find it interesting that the footage was kept hidden, or that nobody was interested in showing the footage, because at that time it was the images that you were being shown on TV of the Black community and what was going on in Harlem at that time was, you know, like the burned out buildings and rioting and things like that. And here was this, I mean, weeks of this event where the whole community came out and was celebrating not only the community, but themselves and the music and everything about that. And from at least what we saw, it went off without a hitch. There was no protests, there was no violence, there was nothing that showed anything that was being shown at the time on TV. So I kind of find that interesting that they didn't show that. And that's what I think what was so beautiful about this, is it was just, everything about it was just a celebration. So it was really cool to kind of see that, which is what those neighborhoods are like. I mean, there's also crime and other stuff too, but I mean, a big part of it is just celebrating the community and the culture and the people and life, you know, in that particular city.
And it's more interesting to watch a group of people that are struggling in that time put that aside and, you know, do something this powerful and beautiful and fun. You know, it's like, as wonderful as Woodstock is, it's like, this is already people who are kind of have this hippie world around them and are surrounded by that. And now we're in kind of, like you say, that area that is marked for crime and stuff, just suddenly like throw that image to the curb and, you know, be themselves. It's beautiful.
It was, and it was a celebration of the music, whereas Woodstock still gets, you know, it gets the sex and the drugs and the you know, sort of hippies and that whole kind of, you know, thing, you know, in addition to the great performances. But this one was just about the music and just about like them having a great time.
I also really loved that the Fifth Dimension.
That was
like,
great.
That whole segment was awesome, because you have, first of all, like what a cool concept where you have the three men kind of like singing in the middle, and you have the two females on the side. I feel like usually like it's like three women and they're kind of like doo-wopping, you know, like they're like the singers. And I love that the women were kind of like the like front and center on that. But what I really liked was that up until that point, they're like people had always said that we had a sound that didn't sound like other artists in our community and like the voices in our community. And
I was nervous. I didn't expect a crowd like that. Something very important was happening.
Who are you to say that a voice or a sound is something that has to be a color? Like that's so small-minded and what a stupid thing to say. I mean, I feel like art is always the thing that brings us together, and they really like, it was their moment. Like you could see how happy they were to be at the Harlem Music Festival, and the entire crowd is just eating them up, and they were like, oh, you know, we just wanted to be here with our community and these artists that we love and respect. And I also love that they did that mashup from Hair between Aquarius and Let the Sun Shine In, and the whole story about how one of the members had like taken a taxi and then left his wallet, and then like the guy who found it ended up being like one of the producers of Hair, and invited him back to the invited the entire band to come see the show. It was awesome.
I also think I was like worried, like the editing was smart, because like had this been released a long time ago, you could have just released it like Woodstock as just a pure music documentary, and it could have just been music. And then I was also a little worried it was going to be like a little too much blah, 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 and not enough music. And it was a really nice combo of the two. Like you need a little bit of that context because of the separation. It's not just like Woodstock where they edit it together. It's like you need that context, and it was smart to just kind of lace it in but not overpower all the music.
Well, because some people aren't going to be familiar with even who a lot of those people were.
Yeah.
And it's funny because as much as I knew like about the Fifth Dimension, Sly and the Family Stone, I always knew Mavis Staples and the Staples Singers.
Yeah.
But like I learned so much more about them through this, you know, things that I had no idea. And you know, you talk about the Fifth Dimension, and it's funny because I mean, she often took lead vocals on a lot of their songs. But yeah, it was nice to learn like stuff that I didn't know about the particular artists.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I was there the entire time.
Yeah.
Like literally the entire time I'm like just bopping to the music, and I like felt like there were some moments where I was so invested in the music that I had to like shake my head and bring myself back to just listen to the commentary that was going on in between, because I was just fully immersed in the experience, and it felt like you were at a concert really, and you were there. They did it in such a way where and then, oh my gosh, how could we not have mentioned the costumes that Rudy, the last thing he said, he's like, that was my favorite costume design
of a film in a long time.
Film in a very
no,
long
and it just but like seeing how stylish everyone was.
Everyone.
Back then, but also seeing them when they were young.
Yeah.
You know, I think Stevie Wonder said he was 19.
Oh my gosh.
When that was
filmed. I mean, he was real young, and Gladys looked young.
And her outfit, she had this like white blouse, like this like pinafore dress situation going on, and it was like black, like a black pinafore over the white, and then she had these gold shiny metallic Mary Jane shoes.
Everyone showed up, even Mahalia. See what she was wearing? A little diamond in the center.
Well, yeah, she had a little diamond with a diamond encrusted diamond.
And love her down.
We did not even talk about Nina Simone.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, so I was telling Jacob there are clips of her online of that concert that I had seen before, but I didn't know that, you know, like I said, all this footage was available.
What I love about her is that she is so stoic. I'm like, you're like not moving a single muscle when you're making your sound. I'm like, how do you do that? Because I feel like I make so.
She's like
so
mad at
facials.
the audience. She's like, "You guys seen this play?" And everyone's like, "Huh? What?"
I know.
She's just
She's
like she is on
amazing.
top of it.
You'll have to listen to Donny Hathaway's version of that song. It's really good.
Yeah.
To Be Young,
love
Gifted in Black.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was
Based
so
on a
moving, and
Lorraine Hansberry play.
so
Yeah.
I like how she put it. She was like, and now this is not a musical.
You seen a Raisin in the
You
Sun?
see a Raisin in the Sun.
What?
Now we wrote a song. Now this play is not a musical, but my music director and I wrote a song.
When we were teaching we taught kids in Berkeley about Nina Simone, and the thing that stuck with them was that she shot at people with a gun.
Are you ready, black people? Are you ready?
Well, if you get a chance,
Go see it.
go see it in the theater. Because
in the theater.
Hulu is going to release it, but the theater is where it's at. The sound, the experience.
Yeah.
I did have to bark at somebody for being on their phone, but it was worth it because everybody is with it for the whole film, and it's a wonderful experience.
Oh yeah, and you might
Yeah.
get interesting people around you. We certainly did.
We are a new people. We are a beautiful people.